So crypto markets are trading sideways right now, and this week is a super important week with the Fed week anticipating rate cuts, multiple different things from Jerome Powell and a lot of different moving parts. But right now, a lot of people are talking about the biggest mistake that altcoin investors are making, and that's dumping their assets right before the huge run up, before we see altcoin season and we start to see altcoins explode significantly. One of the biggest arguments is Bitcoin dominance, and how Bitcoin dominance is kind of ranging right now in that 58 to 59% region, and how we're anticipating more than likely we could be shooting up. There's a lot of macro perspectives around the price action around Bitcoin, and this is something that we keep up with on a day-to-day basis. And we were anticipating that we were going to be seeing a little bit of pump opening up the week, but now everyone's wondering exactly if we're going to be seeing deviations, if you should be selling your altcoins, what is going to be happening next. Well, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is selling your altcoins, guys, right before altcoin season starts. And what does that actually mean? Well, whenever Bitcoin dominance starts to crash down, like what we saw back in 2017 or back in 2020, it starts to shift all of that liquidity into other assets. This is where Ethereum can start to break all-time highs, break that 5,000 region that all crypto investors are waiting for, and then liquidity pours back into altcoins, initiating altcoin season. Now, there's a lot of perspectives on when Bitcoin's going to be peaking out, if we've already peaked out for Bitcoin, and exactly what's going to be happening next. And this is why it's super important to be keeping up with not only the key news events that happen on a week-to-week basis, but also the macro perspective around Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, and exactly what is happening right now. Honestly, guys, moving into the week with the FOMC decision around rate cuts, which is already going to be happening in a few days, that is whenever more than likely we're going to be seeing a front run in the market. We're going to be seeing the markets pump, and more than likely we're going to be seeing a slight correction, because it's going to be a classic buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. The government, US government, has been in a shutdown, guys, for over about, forecasted for 30 days. And now we're approaching a deal with China and the United States, which could be causing a lot of ease in the markets, which is what a lot of investors are stemming their perspectives on. Now, if we don't see a deal roll through, we see rate cuts, not as strong as what everyone was anticipating. And as a result, if it doesn't really have an effect on the market, we could be seeing crazy volatility, which is why most people are, potentially selling their altcoins, getting out of specific positions, reallocating into, Bitcoin and other assets as well. And we have been seeing a surge for gold, mainly due to the fact on the uncertainty in the markets and how gold is a hedge for most investors whenever it comes to, everything dumping and everything moving around. Stock markets have been surging. We've been seeing a lot of different moving parts, which is why we're probably already at the last leg of this cycle whenever we start to see altcoins explode, and a lot of people are going to get dumped on. A lot of people right now are either selling their coins or they're starting to stock up. But when exactly are your altcoins going to peak out, and when are they going to explode? And when should you take profits? This is the question, and this is the answer that everyone is asking and everyone's giving, but everyone's giving a different answer. Everyone's anticipating that Bitcoin's going to be peaking out in Q4, approaching Q1 of 2026. From there, we're going to be seeing liquidity shifting back into Ethereum and altcoins, and this is where everything can start to take a different turn. Are we going to peak out in January, February, March, April, May? Every altcoin season has looked differently, and in my previous videos, I talked about how meme coins, like a coin like Doge, peaked out at a different time than a coin like Render, which is in the AI sector. Which is why, if you have a crypto portfolio like me, and you have a different variety of coins, whether it be meme, AI, RWA, gaming, whatever sector that you're investing in, each asset is going to be seeing a different, period in which it explodes, because each sector gets a different time in the spotlight. You can see it in previous times in this cycle whenever memes were popping off, and then it was AI, and then AI agents, and then gaming, and then RWA, and then infrastructure, L1s, L2s, all that good stuff. All coins don't just explode all at once. There's a narrative that's usually in the spotlight, and everything starts to fluctuate. But right now, with all the craziness that's going on with the government shutdown, the trade deal that's going to be going through hopefully on the 30th with the United States and China, and also Fed week that's happening this week with rate cuts, people are going to be doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff. People are going to be buying whenever they should not be buying. People are going to be selling, which they're selling right now, which they should not be selling, because we have been waiting, guys, for about 4 years for altcoin season to actually occur, which is why someone that just got here about 2-3 months ago and they're investing into the, markets, they don't really have the patience to really be investing into these assets, and as a result, they're gonna miss out on the window in order to make a crazy amount of money. On my channel though, I've been keeping you updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. We covered the M2 money supply, we covered how liquidity shifts, we covered different sectors in the markets, we cover good sources of information to actually follow. We cover multiple different things on this channel, and I think it's just because I'm trying to show a lot of individuals on exactly how they can do it for themselves as well and generate that revenue. But most people do not have the attention span or the patience to pretty much build something long term or even understand what to focus on. So right now is one of the worst times for a lot of crypto investors because people are making stupid mistakes, amateur mistakes, but it's mainly due to the fact that they're not educated on the markets, how liquidity shifts, 4-year cycles. Whenever we see liquidity shift out of Bitcoin into Ethereum and then altcoins, what altcoins are even, and at the end of the day, what we got to see for an altcoin season to occur. I think a lot of people have already lost faith in the markets, which is why a lot of people have already sold their positions. People have gotten liquidated due to the massive manipulation that we've been seeing in the markets. It's crazy. And I hope you're not one of those people. Do not be one of the people that gets sidelined or front run right before we start to see the huge run. Do not get impatient. Do not start fluctuating your assets into another asset, which a lot of people are moving money into stocks and into gold, which more than likely big money, big investors, smart money have already made so much money with gold and with stocks. They're going to be surging that money into another asset, which more than likely is going to be Bitcoin. So right now on the macro lens, we're not anticipating any major dips with Bitcoin. There is a few expectations on the daily price action, which in tomorrow's video, I'm gonna give you guys a full market update on exactly what is taking place, the perspectives around the bears and the bulls, and what exactly I think you should be doing. But in today's video, I wanted to drop exactly why I think most crypto investors are making the biggest mistake that they're probably going to make in their, crypto investing career. And this is due to the fact, like how I said, impatience, not following proper sources of information, and also just getting that FOMO ran through your blood to the fact that you capitulate your bags significantly. Do not be one of those people. My crypto portfolio is still down, but it's due to the fact that altcoins have still not seen the liquidity that they need. Ethereum needs to break above 5,000, and overall, we need to see exactly what's going to be happening with the Fed closing out this week, moving into November, and then December as well. If you guys are new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I try to keep you updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of. As I said, tomorrow we'll go through exactly what is taking place. If y'all have any questions or suggestions on content, be sure to drop it down below. I love to answer any questions that anyone has. If you disagree with my perspective on exactly why this is the biggest mistake crypto investors are going to be making, drop it all down below, other than not selling at the proper time, which is going to be a whole nother mistake people are going to make. But on this channel, we do not plan on doing it. Stay tuned. I'm gonna let you know when I'm selling my crypto portfolio. Liquidity still needs to shift. We got a decent amount of time, but it's still going to be short, so get prepared. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.